Hello there. Welcome to the Immigrant Perspective, where we look at the many aspects of the fall of a certain empire through the eyes of an immigrant. For today's topic, we have the blue donkey, the red elephant, and 330 million grasses. It's not a funny matter. Please, please, please. I just want to say one thing. Appreciate you for watching to this point or listening to this point, depending on how you're accessing this. Let me just add, this is a story about a farmland. Please, please, please. This is a story about a certain farmland. Do not make assumptions about anything other than a farmland. About some animals and some grasses, and yes, we were so good at counting all of them. If you do think, by any chance, that this has a semblance to anything you could assume, you have yourself to blame. We are not responsible for any assumptions you make or any other person makes. This, once again, is a story about some animals and some grasses. Roll the clip.
And first at 5, breaking news just into the 7 Action newsroom. Michigan's Attorney General announcing charges against more than a dozen people over their alleged efforts to overturn the 2020 election.
That's right. Dana Nessel announcing a series of charges against 16 electors for allegedly signing certificates falsely claiming President Donald Trump won the state of Michigan in the 2020 election. Each defendant is facing 8 counts, including conspiracy to commit forgery and forgery. Each count is a 14-year felony.
The 16 electors allegedly met in the basement of the Michigan Republican Party headquarters December 14th, signing their names to multiple certificates stating they were duly elected electors. 7 of those charged are from Southeast Michigan. Their names are right there on the screen. Attorney General Nessel releasing this video statement late this afternoon.
They carried out these actions with the hope and belief that the electoral votes of Michigan's 2020 election would be awarded to the candidate of their choosing instead of the candidate that Michigan voters actually chose.
Now, the announcement comes on the same day that former President Trump said he was notified that he is the target of an investigation by a grand jury looking into the January 6th riot and efforts to overturn the 2020 election. We'll have more on that story coming up in just a few minutes.
This story is about something that occurred a while ago in a certain farmland where I, as a grass, moved over to. And this farmland, I was told the grasses there were free. The grasses bragged they were bold. They said everything was according to the law. They said all of them could become whatever they wanted to be. And that above all things, truth prevailed. And so, as a little grass I was, I left my own low-esteemed farmland they claimed, crossed the seas, and decided to follow the law. And in a certain year, the grasses in this farmland all said, hey, we shall select someone to preside over our farmland. And I was like, really? Is that how it's done? I've heard about this before. They said, yes. Any of us here can rule over our farmland and shall take dictates from us. And so I observed as the immigrant grass that I was. And to my surprise, when the time came, what did I find? Just a couple of animals. I'm like, wait a minute, I thought any of the grasses would rule. How come only animals would prevail? But don't get distracted. The animals decided that they should stand to choose who shall be Lord over this place. And then in the end, there was the blue donkey. It looked old and frail, and it bumbled and fell. And then on the other side, on the right corner, I found another big red elephant. He told everyone how big he was. Look at my hands, he would brag, that I'm the biggest and the largest animal of all. Some of the things he said just came out as just pure braggadocious nature. But then, when you looked at him, he was an elephant all the same, right? So, you could not really tell if he weighed 5,000 tons or 4,500 tons. Does it make a difference? An elephant is an elephant. But then, I now asked the grasses, how do you decide which animal shall rule over all? And they said, this is how it works. We shall scratch the ground with our blades, and when we do, they shall count it, and in the end, the animal with the largest or with the highest number of scratches shall rule over the farmland. And so I stood and observed, and to my shock, when the time for the scratching began, I saw many and many crowds lining up, screaming in the name of the red elephant that they would scratch the ground for this. I saw the grasses dance. I saw them shake in the wind, believing that the elephant with his size would have the capacity to do the things that were required for the grasses to have more sunlight and prosper. And when I looked over to the blue donkey, I was shocked. Not many grasses seemed to line around him, but he seemed confident. And he spoke that when the day comes, you all shall see that he shall triumph. And then the day came. And so I watched how the grasses out in the farmland decided to scratch the ground. And the more they scratched, the more I watched. And late into the night I sat as the little grass that I was, and I watched them begin to count. And they counted, and they counted. Then something suddenly happened. They said we shall stop counting in certain areas. I didn't tell you before. On this farmland there are 50 different regions. And they stopped counting in some of the regions. And I didn't understand why. You see, I never told you something. In that other farmland where I was created from, where I had to travel from to cross the seas to this great farmland that we speak of today, I had seen this happen before. That when our own little grasses would say they want to scratch the ground, at some point when the counting would continue, some people would ask them to stop, and later on would decide what number it was, and no one could ever argue it, because come on, you don't have the resources. But what was so unique, even when I was younger in my own native farmland, was that I had seen how this great farmland where I now live used to send some of her animals to tell my little tiny farmland, if you cannot finish counting and give the number of scratches on that day, something is funny. Something is funny if it doesn't match up. Something is funny, and we, the great farmland, will not accept it. And so here I was in the great farmland, thinking that's what the law is. But to my dismay, what did I find? Oops. The counting stopped. Everything changed. And all of a sudden, certain things began happening, which we cannot talk about. But I found out that one day the animals announced that from what they counted on the ground, that there were so much scratches in the name of the donkey. So much. In fact, it was the largest number of scratches ever recorded on the ground of this farmland. I'm like, wait. The largest ever? The highest ever recorded number of scratches. And I saw some grasses claim that they were bold. They claim that they will stand. They will not allow such stuff happen on their farmland. They said they will speak up and they will stand up and they will change the course of things, for it was the farmland of truth. But nothing happened. Nothing happened. I tell you the truth. Nothing happened. And then many years later, like you saw, we now realize that in order to ensure that people have faith in the scratching of the ground, we have to go after such foolish grasses that thought they had the audacity to speak up, to reveal certain things that certain people like myself had seen did not add up, because such things can never be spoken of. Say no more. And so they shall be taught a lesson. They shall be paraded in the streets. They shall be made homeless. They shall be taught a lesson that on this farmland you have to obey and only say what certain animals desire you to say. And I wondered, I thought you said you were free, grasses. I thought you said you were bold. OMG, like the young people would say. But here I find this is the truth. It is now over to you, right? It's your farmland. And now you begin to see what the rest of the world has always seen. That when the animals are over you, lording over you, they will pounce, and they will pee on you, and they will poop on you, and you have to accept it as manure. You will claim that you are free because you can shake, but you can never change where you are, because that's what you are. The animals shall gladly walk over you any way they choose, and all you have to do is follow the principle that has always existed, and that is shut up and do your work. And if you say no, that is not right, you damn immigrant, what do you know? Well, probably you're right. I know nothing, but I can see that neither do you, because as we can see, to you grasses that claim you're free, and to those who say they are bold, where is thy boldness? And give me the proof of your freedom. Ouch. The principles have always remained the same. The animals shall rule and shall do as they wish, and you the grasses shall remain still and take whatever you're given. Thank you so much for listening to my story about a farmland. I shall be doing a lot more on these farmlands and different things that we have seen. I do hope you would like and subscribe. I do hope you would share. Please, I repeat, this is just a story about a farmland. I do not wish that you should assume anything. Well, I cannot stop you from making assumptions. It's your right to assume whatever you wish to assume, but that's on you, please. So far, we have not gone against any laws, either on this platform or any other platform. We are just telling stories about a farmland, and I hope you enjoy our talk of agriculture. And like, subscribe, please. It would definitely help the channel, and probably 7 other people like you who like stories about farmlands that can be told from the perspective of an immigrant who has seen other farmlands before and can tell if they prospered or failed, and can tell you what is really happening. Such people may also benefit from this. Thank you so much. Appreciate you. Until the next story. 1.